Hi, Pete McNeil here from Craft Brewing Business, coming to you from the MicroStar booth at the 2022 CBC in Minneapolis. I'm with Dan Vorlage from MicroStar, which you probably know, but I'm here to talk with Dan a little bit today about a different role that he's in as the Executive Director for the new Steel Keg Association. So Dan, thanks for having us here at the show. Tell me what's new.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And so I'm wearing my Steel Keg Association hat. This is a new association that we just launched this last week. We just announced it, and we're really excited about it. The association's mission is to grow the volume of beer served from steel kegs.
Okay.
And so that's really good news for the beer industry, because draft beer is the heartbeat of the industry, especially for craft brewers who have such a high percentage of their business that's dependent on the draft beer market. The more it grows, the more it's going to benefit brewers.
Absolutely. So, tell me, there was a lot of work that went into planning this, but tell me a little bit about how it started coming together, and obviously there was a need for this, and you guys saw the need, but tell me a little bit about how you were able to get it off the ground.
Yeah, well, it was really born out of COVID, because sometimes you don't really appreciate something until it's gone. And the whole beer industry, unfortunately, had that experience with draft beer effectively going to zero at the beginning of the pandemic. It helped the industry appreciate it more and the benefits it delivers. And so obviously we're biased, but just because we're biased doesn't mean we're wrong. We saw this as an opportunity to really shine a light on the benefits that steel kegs deliver.
Right.
People don't see it this way, but they kind of take it for granted because kegs been around so long and they kind of work behind the scenes. But they're the original reusable container. And reusability is kind of having this moment with Hydro Flask and Starbucks announcing their commitment to moving what Starbucks calls a cultural movement to reusables because of the sustainability benefits it delivers.
So this was sustainability before sustainability was a thing.
That's exactly right. It was Hydro Flask before Hydro Flask was a thing.
Exactly.
And so it all comes to this model of circularity. And the idea of a circular economy is that finite materials are put into packaging and then put back into the supply chain rather than sent to landfill, right? And so from that perspective, recycling is more circular than landfill.
Sure.
With the same thinking, reusable containers are more circular even than recycling. So there's the sustainability benefit, and we've proven it out now. We hired Deloitte to conduct an ISO 14000 level life cycle analysis, and they quantified that in the US, steel kegs remove 6 billion single-use containers from waste streams each year.
Wow.
And that 6 billion...
6 billion with a B.
With a B.
Okay.
And what that means from a sustainability perspective, that removes 500,000 metric tons of greenhouse gases every single year because of kegs' reusability and their long lifespan. It saves 400,000 metric tons of containers from going to landfill every single year. So it's this incredible sustainability story that's never been told, and the mission for the Steel Keg Association is now to really tell that story so we can increase volume for the beer industry.
Wow, that's those are big numbers to try to wrap your head around.
It's incredible.
So tell me a little bit about some of the partners that you guys work with to get this off the ground. How did it happen?
Yeah, sure. So we started talking about this actually at the last CBC is when this really started. We were all together in Denver, and the 6
wearing our color-coded sticker.
That's right. And so we had the 6 leading companies in the global draft supply chain. So it's BLEFA, Thielmann, Schaefer, Matic, MicroStar, and Hillebrand Gori. That represents the largest global keg manufacturers,
big names.
Dispense installers, and then MicroStar, and then Hillebrand Gori is a large logistics company, keg logistics company. That's the founding group that really said we each need to make a long-term financial commitment to fund marketing programs.
That's a big investment.
It's a significant investment to fund marketing programs, to educate the decision makers at bars and restaurants, the people who are actually making the decision of whether to purchase spirits, wine, or draft beer. We want to make sure that when they're making that decision, they're aware of those benefits that steel kegs deliver. It's not just the sustainability benefit that I just described. When something has a sustainability advantage or a carbon advantage, it also is an indicator that it has an economic advantage because it's using resources more efficiently. So it's not surprising that when you talk to brew pubs, bars, or restaurants, that they'll tell you draft beer is highly profitable for them It's a very important part of their business, which is especially important now given all the headwinds that these bars and restaurants are facing. So we think as an association, the timing's great for us to go to these decision makers at bars and restaurants and raise awareness of the fact that steel kegs have this great 1-2 punch, a great sustainability story and a great economic story for bars and restaurants.
So how do you take it to the next level? How do you get into those groups? How do you make this known?
Yeah. So first step is rally the beer industry, which is what we started with our announcement last week. It's what we're doing here at the CBC, and all of our members have advertising materials and promotional materials to raise awareness of the association and what we do. That's because we want to work, and we are going to be working with the Brewers Association, the National Beer Wholesalers Association, Beer Institute, to raise awareness as an industry for the role draft beer plays, and for us as an industry to increase our focus and promote it, especially with these benefits that I've been describing as we go to market. So that's step one. The other step is we'll be deploying our funds to launch an advertising campaign targeting these decision makers at bars and restaurants. So this is through their channels like Nation's Restaurant News and the National Restaurant Association's conference,
and Craft Brewing Business,
and Craft Brewing Business, of course, and the Vibe conference. And so we will be investing the association's funds on this awareness campaign. And what's interesting is as we talk to these decision makers at bars and restaurants, in the same way that we'll be doing in the campaign, they're really excited about the idea of being able to quantify for themselves as a restaurant chain the sustainability benefit that they get from steel kegs that they didn't even know they had.
Sure.
And so it's really neat to see the way
consumers want to hear about it. They want to know. It's on people's minds. So.
Consumers want more sustainable options. They want more sustainable packaging. Look at the conversion to paper straws in a lot of states, and increase interest in reusable containers. Starbucks had recently announced they want to lead a cultural movement towards reusable. This is Starbucks saying this. They want reusable containers available in all their locations worldwide, including in drive-thrus. The world is waking up to the risk of climate change and the fact that the circular economy, an increased focus on things like reusability, is a really big part of the solution.
That's great. Well, hey, Dan, thanks for sharing that message. And cheers to that. And here's to the rest of CBC 2022.
Great. Thanks for having me. Pete. Cheers all.
Cheers.
All right.